This is Irontrader, and this is midday trading. So I'm going to take a look here at Snowflake, Snow, which actually had their earnings today, blew out numbers, IONQ, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do Tesla on one chart, and on the left side, and on the right side, we'll do the Tesla short, TSLS, and then we're going to do NVIDIA, NVDA, and then on the right side, we're going to do NVDS. Okay, this is the video. It's for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Snowflake. Now you can see here what a really, really nice, good run this had, and it looks like it wants to continue, okay? Now, what we have here, you can see when the price got up over that 8-day, look how nice it respected it all the way on up, okay? Then, yesterday we had this little down day below the 8-day, but again, we have this sideways action, okay? Now, we never did fill this gap. See, we're at the bottom of the candle is 177.67, and then we go to the top of this candle at 172. So we never did fill this gap, but we have that sideways consolidation. And when you get that, a lot of times you can just rally right up higher, okay? Which obviously it is doing. Okay, so let's just take a look at what we got. So we popped right on up here. We have 201.18. So what we want to do is go to the left of the chart. Well, you can see here what we want to do is we want to look at the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 202.83. We can come up top of this candle here at 211.65. We'll come to the top of this candle here at 220.67. But what we're really looking for is this keep running, is this gap fill all the way up here, okay, at 231.09, the bottom of that candle. Then we have your retest up there at 237. But again, always respect what we have going on the left-hand side. So always watch right there. That's going to be your next resistance level, okay? That 202.83. And then respect this one here, 211.65, because it might stop out on that one there, 219.74. But again, watch that gap fill, because once we start getting into that gap, she runs up nicely. However, what we have here with the snow is we had a gap situation. I never really liked that because eventually it fills. Okay, here's an example. Okay, so where it ran up here, it gapped right on up here, and then eventually it filled that gap. Okay, so always remember that here. So what we're looking here on the downside is we want to watch the top of this candle right here. Okay, so that's going to be 194.40. Okay, we'll come over here to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 190.92. Then we'll come over to the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 186.82. And then we're going to be looking here for this gap fill, the top of this candle right here at 184.09. Now, we have that 8-day looking very, very good. Okay, 8-day all the way on up, 21-day all the way on up, 50-day trying to curl up, bottom left, upper right. Very, very nice. I'm just not a big fan of the gap fill when it just gaps and kind of goes, because it wants to come down. Now, if it does come down and it holds this 184.02, that could be a good buying opportunity here to take up, go up longer, a kind of a situation. But right now, this is a very, very good, healthy stock. Now, we got up here, we're in this overbought condition, okay? So last time we got into this overbought condition, what happened? It came right on down, okay? So just remember that kind of a situation, all right? So now we have the green is over your red here. This is still looking very, very good, but always watch them overbought conditions here, because obviously we had a good gap up today, but a lot of times that can gap and then come right on down. So on the downside, just watch that gap fill, because that's going to be very, very key. So, okay, so if we lose is a nice high that we have going on here today, you want to watch that 191.99, and then we want to watch that gap fill there at 184.08. Okay, and now on the upside here, we will look to the left of the chart here very, very nicely, but just watch the bottom of this candle here. Okay, that is going to be 226.56. That is going to be your gap fill. So eventually, I think it works itself all the way and up nice. Okay, let's look at IONQ here. Okay, here we have IONQ. Now you can see here how nicely this ran all the way up here. Very, very nice. Got to an oversold, overbought condition, and then she came right on down. But we put this nice double bottom. I'm going to show you that right now, okay? So we had this really nice, good double bottom here. It got as low all the way down here at that 1793. We retested it here, okay, with 1881, okay? So what we have over on a daily chart is a double bottom situation. Now, if you're trading and you're looking for these double bottoms, what you want to do is go on a 1 minute, a 5 minute, or a 15-minute chart. But usually it'll be within an area if you're day trading. If you're saying, hey, I'm taking a long term, then you want to go on this daily chart and just say, hey, when it gets to this retest here, this is your buying opportunity because it held that low. Okay, so now you can see where it ran up here. Look at this 8-day. Look how nice that 8-day is following it all the way and up. Beautiful. Now the 21 days just went over the 100-day, and the 50 days curling up, and look at this pow right to the top here. Now we got high today as 43.87. Okay, very, very nice. But we're running into all this resistant level here. Okay, so what we want to do is take over to the top of this candle here. Okay, so you're looking at 44.34. Okay, and then we're going to look to the top of this candle right here, 44.59. And then we can bring over the top of this candle. This is what we're looking for at that 45.56. Now, as this is running up here, this could very well, now you are into this gap, okay? See how we had this gap situation? Now, if you look at the bottom of this candle, this gap is not filled. You could go all the way up to this 48.73. That's going to be your target, okay? Right in that level, which goes in nicely with that 48.56 level, okay? So right here, this gap fill could be next, and then we could run up to the top of this candle. You're looking at 51.66, and then you retest there at 54.74. So just because you had one good day here, that doesn't mean that this can't keep right on rallying like we did here, okay, after that. So look, always watch the left, look at that gap fill, because that could be a really nice target at that 48.73. Now we're getting to this little bit of overbought situation, but that doesn't mean it can't stay overbought. I just like to point that out to you that, you know, we got overbought. Over here, you know, you got an oversold condition, okay? See how that is? So it's just going to be a matter of time before she's going to rally up. But when you get this overbought, that doesn't mean, even though it's you know, you have a descending situation, you have ascending, you know, chart going on here. So it'd be a matter of time, but it doesn't have to be instant. But I just want to always like to point that out to you, that you're getting to that overbought situation, that you might need a little pullback, a little consolidation kind of a situation. But realistically, we're looking here in this lot of resistance in this area. But if we can break through it, then just look to the bottom of that candle there, 48.73. That is your target. Now, on the downside situation, well, you know, we filled this gap right here. Okay, you can see that. We filled that nice gap. What we're really looking for is right here is going to be this price channel at 36.61. So as long as it holds that, that's going to be key. If that's lost, we're going to come right to that 35.05 level. That's going to be your 8-day, and then we have your 21-day, 100-day sitting right below it. But right now, bottom left, upper right, man, doesn't really get much better than this. This looks very, very good. So let's just see how this all closes, where we can possibly take this bad boy higher right to that nice gap fill. Okay, let's take a look here now at Tesla and Tesla Shorty. Okay, here we have Tesla. Now I just want to show you an easy way here to how to short. So if this here starts selling off here, TSLS is an easy way to make a really, really nice short. Okay, so here's what we're looking at on Tesla. Okay, so we're looking at this 8-day at 342.27. Okay, now if we can get above that, then we're going to look to that price channel, 354.99. Okay, that's going to be key. Now, we get above that. See how easy this is here? We just bring that price channel across. This is what you're looking for, 367.34. We bring this price channel across. This is what you're looking for, 380.55. Okay, and we just keep right on rallying out up here. Now, we do have a gap right here. See, 394. There's your gap. Then we want to look to the bottom of that candle right there at 401. Okay, 34. Okay, so there's your gap, 394, and then your bottom of your candle is 401.34. There's gap and your fill, and then we come right over to the top of the candle. You're looking at 419.99, and then we just keep right on rallying up here at 439.74, and we'll bring this price channel right across. You got 465, and then you got your big retest up there at 488. Now, say this sells off here. Okay, so we got to this over bought condition, and it sold off. Now, it had a nice good run into Elon's speech that he's all back in with Tesla and everything, and he's got the self-driving car, but got to kind of see through all that a little bit, okay? So, again, this is a tech play. This is one of my favorite trades, don't get me wrong. But, you know, when he's talking about self-driving cars, he's going to have 1 million cars on the road self-driving. He doesn't even sell 1 million cars in a year. How are you going to have every car that he makes is going to be self-driving, it's going to be on the road? I don't think so. Now, you look in Europe, what just happened. Oh, man, BYD, that's that China ED, finally took over in sales over Tesla, okay? Now, BYD is a really nice look. I mean, I looked at this at the auto show. I said, oh, my Lord, the fit and finish on this car, just unbelievable. For 30 grand, I mean, this is like really, really nice here. So just be a little bit cautious and kind of see through some of that, the dreams that he's kind of selling. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to go higher, but if it sells off here, this is what you want to get into. Okay. So as this was selling off, okay, let me just show you here. As this was selling off, geez, I went the wrong way. Okay. All right. So as this was selling off here all the way on down, this bad boy was rallying up here. Nice. Okay. So we rallied all the way there from that 682. We got as high all the way there to that 1388 level. Okay, so you had a really nice trade, and then when at 682, hell, you can go there 25,000 shares, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And rally right on up very, very nicely. Okay, so always look at this here as an option. Never look at it and say, oh, I can only trade to one direction. Now, if you trade one direction, that's fine. But always know that you can make money on the downside. So as this rallies, this is going to come right on down, obviously. Okay, so what you don't want to do, you don't really want to chart this. You want to put these side by side. Okay, and then you want to chart that Tesla. So whatever Tesla is doing, this is going to do just the opposite, okay? So basically what you're watching is you're watching that key level, that 342. You get above that, this is what we're going to be doing at 354. Now, if that sells down here, we have this 100-day, 316, and then we'll come down here to this bottom of this candle, 311.50, okay? And then we'll at the top of there at 307. So we have a gap and a fill, and then we have this 306.85 level, okay? Now, again, if this does sell right on off here, then we can always jump into this and make a nice, good run, okay, very, very nicely all the way up here. So always look at it as a two-way trade if that's what you want to do. All right, so let's take a look here now at NVIDIA and NVIDIA short. Okay, here we have NVIDIA. Now, yesterday I made a nice 4 points on this, scalped on the long side, and I made a nice point on this on the downside, okay? So you can see here, as NVIDIA runs up, obviously this is running down. So just like with the Tesla trade, okay, so last time when we had all these big sell-offs here, okay? So you got the 153, and then bottom line here, what you're doing, you're putting in a series of lower highs until we reverse that trend, okay? Now, this had a really good run all the way from here. So you look at the bottom, you had a 2068, and we rallied all the way up here to that 39.85 level, okay? So you have a good amount of run that you can run into the short on NVIDIA. Now, right now, I'm long NVIDIA, and I'm trading it going into the earnings on the 28th, okay? So what I'm looking for, like I did last time, is I buy this here. I am 95 out the door, okay, on NVIDIA on my long trade, okay, 95. So I have a little room here that I can spare. So what I always do is I buy all this in advance, you know, anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks in advance when nobody wants this. Then I run it up into the earnings. Like last time we had into the earnings was really nice. I sold it the day of, and then afterwards I sold it again my other half. Okay, so it's like I use it like 2 trades because it looks like NVIDIA, if you look at the earnings, it just wants us it wants to sell. So let's just take a look here at where the earnings were. Okay, so here's was one of the earnings situation. You can see where it just sold right down after the earnings. Same thing here. Okay, same thing here. All right. So that's what you always want to watch. Just look, what has this thing done in the past? Now remember, they're going to have that big write-off about 4.9 billion. So just remember that that's going to be in that quarter. Okay. But now again, that's in the past. So you're looking forward. You have a lot of good stuff going forward. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stick. Okay. So you were looking for that 153.13 on the high side. But if it doesn't stick, it's going to sell right off here again. Okay. So instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to rebuy it and I'll do this and blah, 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 I can take the shorty and I can make money on the way down with the NVDS, okay? So let's just take a look at NVIDIA. What we're watching here is we're watching this 133.83 level. That's your 8-day, okay? Then we're going to look at yesterday's high, and that's that 137.40, okay? Now, again, if we can get above that, then we're going to bring this price channel right across. Here's your next target, 140, 146, and then we'll come right up top of this candle. You're looking at 143.44, and we'll come right up here, looking at 148.97. Then we'll always look to the left here, okay? So then when you're looking at 152.89 and then 153.13 is your breakout. Now, eventually, I think this is going to creep its way up to the 200 area. But with this downtrending here, always look to the past with the earnings and you say high, lower high, lower high. That's what's happening here once those earnings hit, okay? So now we reverse that downtrend and we're on the way up here, but we have to get above this price channel, which was yesterday's high, sitting at that 137.40. Now, again, if we can get above it, then we just follow it all the way on up here. But then again, don't be afraid to sell some into that earning. I sell half position the day of, okay? It might be 5 minutes to 4, but I'll sell it. Then I see what happens in the after hours. A lot of times I'll pull back, rally up, and then I can, like last time, boom, I just dumped it, okay? And it was a really good trade. And then I could just jump right into the old short ski here and take it right on up here. So you always have, a two-way trade. So you're always making money on the NVIDIA. Okay, I just wanted to show you that real quick here. Now remember this RSI here, that's that overbought condition. So we're going to try to rally back up here. We'll see what happens. You're at nosebleed section up here. But look where the short is. You're at the bottom. You're just the opposite of what's going on here. So I'm not saying this is going to be a great short. We got to see how it all trades out. Now remember, it's not the earnings what matters. It's the guidance going forward is the key. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the open close. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas, gold, silver, and we'll look at the indexes, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.